Hey everyone. We are just going to continue going over system of equations. I actually did them all the other day, so I have them all set up. Uh, we do baseball cards yesterday. I don't remember which one we're on. Yeah, give me a minute to set things up here. I think that's the one that, for some reason, I wasn't thinking right the other day. I'll do that one first. Alright. I think I'm ready to start. I know one of the questions was a repeat on there. I noticed when I was going through it. So there really are only 9 questions on this sheet. And again, I'm looking at the sheet that was assigned, I want to say Friday. It looks like this. It just has a bunch of different system of equation problems on it to practice. And I can tell you right now, these are a lot harder than anything I'm going to give you on the test. So let's get these out of the way now, and we'll look at them. I did number 1 and 3 on Friday. So if you have questions about 1 or 3, go back to Friday's lecture and review that, see what's going on there. I attempted number 2, and for some reason I wasn't reading that right, and I took a small break and came back to it, and it was pretty easy after that. Again, it was just me reading things and interpreting them wrong, which I have trouble with. So again, if you need to take small breaks, go ahead and take small breaks. We're going to be doing this today and tomorrow, so if you still haven't finished with it, still have questions on it, not sure if you got the correct answers, today and tomorrow we're going to go over it. Make sure you're getting everything right and you're understanding it and you're interpreting it in a logical sense. So this one says you run an accounting business that specializes in auditing, verifying account records. One of the auditors is working on the payment. The company has 75 employees. Some are part-time and some are full-time. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to assign variables. We're going to say we're going to say F equals full-time employees, and we're going to say P equals part-time employees. And based off of your company has 75 employees, some are part-time and some are full-time, we know that 75 has to equal your full-time employees plus your part-time employees. So the total has to be 75. They go together. Straightforward there. After working for 3 days, your auditor tells you that the audit is complete for half of the full-time employees. So half of the full-time employees, 1/2 times however many full-time employees you have, is going to equal however many they actually did. And it says here they still have 50 employees to audit. So 75 minus 50 gives you 25. So they've only done 25. So you know that equals 25. And this one's pretty simple. You just kind of solve for F and plug into here. It's not too crazy of a system of equations. I was expecting it to be more. I thought we did 25 employees. Some were full-time, some were part-time, and I was looking for how many part-time it said, but it doesn't. So it just says it only did half the full-time. So we know half of the full-time is 25 people, so all of the full-time would just be multiplying this by 2, or multiplying by its reciprocal. So we're going to do our inverse operations here. I guess you could divide each side by 1/2 if you thought that way, but dividing by 1/2 is multiplying by 2. So we're just going to multiply each side by 2. So we know that full-time employees, there are 50 of them. And if there's 50 full-time employees, then there's going to be 25 part-time employees. It's not too difficult. So 75 equals 50 plus your part-time employees, which is P, subtract 50, subtract 50, you get 25 equals your part-time. So that one really wasn't as hard as I was making it out the other day. I was just reading into it wrong. So hopefully that makes sense to you. And if we have questions on it, make sure you're asking. But we're just going to continue going on. We'll do a couple more today. So we're on problem 4 after that. We can probably do 4, 5, and 6 probably, and then we'll do the other ones tomorrow. And this is baseball cards. So let me find our baseball card one. Make everything disappear except for this slide we're actually going to delete. And we want baseball cards. So here we are with our baseball cards. It says we collect baseball and football cards, and your uncle has an old collection of 360 cards that he gives you. The collection has more baseball cards than football cards. In fact, it has 30 more baseball cards than twice the number of football cards. So this is an important sentence. That's going to give us one equation, but our first equation, we're going to define variables. F we'll say is a football card. And we'll say, what's the other one? Baseball. B is a baseball card. We know, based off of this, that 360 has to equal however many football cards you have plus however many baseball cards you have. So it's a combination of football plus baseball cards. We also know over here there are 30 more baseball cards than twice the number of football cards. So what you're going to do is you're going to do twice the number of football cards, so 2 times the number of football cards plus the 30, because there's going to be 30 more. Right, there are 30 more baseball cards than twice the number of football cards equals your baseball cards. I believe that's how you interpret that. So we already have a solution for B. So we're going to go ahead and plug in B to here. Yeah. So I'm going to take this B and plug it in here. So we get 360 equals football cards plus, and then B is 2 football cards plus 30. Then you can combine your like terms. F plus 2F gives you 3F plus 30 equals 360. And then you just solve for F like you've been doing. So minus 30, minus 30, 330 equals 3F. Divide by 3, divide by 3, you get 110 equals F. So there's 110 football cards. Okay, and then you can plug back into here, or here really, to solve for B. So here we have 360 equals 110, because F is 110 now, plus B. And then you just solve that. So subtract 110 from both sides, and you get 0, 5, 250 baseball cards. So those are your answers there. Questions on that one? Double check your work, see if you got similar answers, if you made a mistake somewhere. Again, really the only new part is picking out the equations. So double check to see if your equations got picked out right. Then everything else is what we've been doing for the past couple weeks here. Alright, if there's no questions, I'll just continue going. Get the next one here, which I think is your basic cable one. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's show that. This is number 5 on there. This is number 5. So your family receives basic cable television and 1 movie channel for $39. So looking at that, we're gonna, I'll read the whole thing. Your neighbor receives basic cable and 2 movie channels for $45.50. What is the monthly charge for basic cable? Assume that each movie channel has the same charge. So we're really only looking for basic cable's price. So keep that in mind. We only really care about basic cable, but we'll find how much the movie channels cost and how much basic cable does. But it's really just asking for basic cable. So your family receives basic cable television and 1 movie channel for $39. So we're going to come over here, we're going to say B equals your basic and M equals your movie channel. And these are both going to be in prices. These are dollar signs. So these are prices. So the price of your basic cable and the price of your movie channel. And we know that according to our first sentence here, right, 1 movie channel, so 1 movie channel plus 1 basic cable has to equal $39. Or we can clean that up and say 39 equals your basic cable plus a movie channel, because that's what you're getting. And then your neighbor is getting the same thing, only he's getting 2 movie channels. So we have 2 M's, and he is paying $49.50 or $45.50. So here we really just want to solve for B, but we're going to do both of them. So let's solve for one of these for a variable. Again, it doesn't matter which one you solve for a variable, but we need to set it up so we can plug something into one of these. So let's solve our first one here for B to get the actual basic cable. So we're going to subtract the movie from each. So 39 minus the movie is going to give you your basic cable. And that makes sense, right? You're paying $39, you're going to subtract it. Math test, your probably is going to be next week. And then you're probably not going to have another one after that because we probably won't get through everything after that. But I wouldn't count on it. We might have quizzes or something. But your math test is looking like next week, I think. And if you can do stuff like this, then you'll be fine for equation stuff. It's also going to have graphing and things on there, but you probably have been graphing pretty well. We did a lot of that. So just basic slope stuff, basic linear equations, things like that. Well, we'll have some review days. So anyways, this is one equation for B. Substitute in for B over here. I guess we're going to find the movie channel price first. I did it that way. I didn't think too much into that. So $45.50, substitute in B. B is equal to 39 minus M plus 2M. Combine your like terms here. You can do minus M plus 2M. So $45.50 is going to equal $39 minus M, because this is a -1, and -1 plus 2 just gives you 1. I'm sorry, this will be a plus then. This will be a positive M. So go ahead and subtract 39 from both sides, and this will give you the price of a movie channel, not the basic cable, the movie channel, because we're solving for M here. So $450 minus 39, your movie channel is coming out to be $650 equals the movie channel. So our movie channel here is $650. In that case, we can plug back into here to get our basic cable. So here we get $39 equals your basic cable plus your $650, because that's what one movie channel is. So we can subtract $650 from both sides, minus $650, and do 35 minus 6.5 gives you $32.50 for basic cable. So basic cable equals $32.50. So double check that one. You're getting basic cable, you're getting movie channel. Alright, if you guys don't have any questions on that one. Again, you can give it a break. Actually, I don't want that open. That gone. I don't want that. Let's get rid of that. Alright, this was the last one I was planning on doing today, but if we want to move on, we'll see where we're at. I mean, nobody seems to be having any questions on it, so I'm guessing you're getting the correct answers on these. You tried them already. You're getting the same thing I'm getting. This is problem 6 and 7, because I think they're the same. Yeah, again, it's going to come with practice, and you're going to get more of it next year. You'll get more of it the year after that. It just comes with practice. But let's look at this one. This is 6 and 7. This is 6 and 7. I don't know which one's one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this is 6 and 7. They're the same thing. It's just about reading carefully. Each problem is just a little different, so I'm making sure you understand what it's saying. This is problem 6/7 because for some reason they were the same problem. I took the same problem, put them twice, I guess. I don't know. Well, here we have a hotel room, or a hotel that has 260 rooms. Some are single and some are double. So just looking at that part, right, we have singles. We'll call this a single room. And D we'll call a double room. A double room. And we know they have to add up to 260. So this is the one you probably are all like, hey, that's pretty easy to get. Single room plus the double room. The next one here, and when it comes to price, these are the kind of problems that you actually see the most of probably, is the ones that come to price. When it comes to the price part, the price of a single room is going to be the single room times the price of one room. So if we know the price of one single room, we can find out how much any number of single rooms cost just by multiplying it. So here we have a single room costs $35. So just by reasoning, one single equals 35, two singles would equal 35 plus 35, or 35 times 2, or 2 times the price of your single room. In other words, we're going to be writing it as 35 times one single, 35 times 2 singles would be doubling this. So what is that? 70 would be 70. 3 rooms would be tripling that. So keeping that in mind, just your relation with multiplication, you're going to know that the price of this, which is a total of 14,000, this is your total price. You know that a single room is 35, so $35 per single room, plus a double room is $60 plus the double room, or times the double room, sorry. So here, if we have one single room, it would be 1 times 35. And one double room would be 1 times 60. Then the total price would be your 60 plus 35. Here, we don't know how many single rooms we have. We don't know how many double rooms we have, so we just use the variables for them. Any questions on where those came from. That was the, according to what you just said, that was the trickiest part, which I agree. I think that is the trickiest part, but again, it just takes some getting used to. That's why we're practicing it. So once you have that, you just solve for one of these, which is probably this one. Just be careful here because there's going to be some multiplication going here, so your distributive property is going to come in play eventually. So watch your algebra with it. So 260 equals s plus d. It doesn't matter which one you solve for, so let's get rid of d. That way I don't have to write s's anymore because they kind of look like 5s. So over here we're going to get minus d on that side. So 260 minus d equals s, and then I can plug in for this s here. So I get 14000 equals 35 times s, which is 260 minus d plus 60d. And here's your distributive property. Don't skimp on that. Keep that in mind. So 35 does get distributed to 260 and to d. So 35 times 260 gives us 14000 equals 9100. 35 times 260 gives you then 9100. 35 times negative d gives you a negative 35d. And then the plus 60d is just going to come down. Here you're going to combine your d's, so negative 35 plus 60 is just 60 minus 35, which gives you 25. So we have 14000, which we didn't touch, 9100 we didn't touch, and then this is a positive 25d now. We just combined these like terms. Then we can subtract 9100 from each side, and you get 25d equals 14,000 minus 9100 is 4900. Divide by 25, divide by 25, and you get 196 double rooms. So your double room is 196. And it's asking how many of each type. So there are 196 double rooms available. With that, once you get that information, plug back into the easiest one up here and solve for your single rooms. So we know that 260 equals your double or your single room plus your double room. We know our double room is 196. So we just subtract them, and you get 64 single rooms. So there's that. So you can do the problem, but not with an equation. I'm not sure what you mean by that. The whole point is using equations. Unless you're just agreeing with getting the equation. Well, if you're saying the hardest part is picking out this, then again, it just takes some careful reading and practice. And you'll be getting more of this next year. In all honesty, we're going way more in depth in this with these problems than you probably need to for the chapter. But it's a skill that you need to know, so I figured I'd take the time to do it. With that, that leaves us 3 more problems that I was planning on looking at tomorrow. So go through, double check these ones, see if you're getting the right equations. Take another look at the other 3, see if your equations are being pulled out. Let's give you the equations for them. See if you can double check to make sure you're reading it right. If I can find them. This one, green storage bins. Yeah, so here, green storage warehouse has a total of 30 bins. Some hold 20 tons and the rest hold 15 tons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, I'm going to say a small bin, or S, for the smaller bins, which are the 15-ton bins. Yeah, I have a dog. And B, I'm going to say for the big bins, which are the 20-ton bins. And you know that it has a total of 30 bins, so you need to know that your small bins plus your big bins equals 30. And that's the easy one everyone's saying that, hey, you should be able to get. The next one is how many of each type bin are there, and the capacity of the warehouse is 510. You'll note that this one is actually pretty similar to the one we just did. So 510 has to equal the number of tons, right? So a small bin is 15 tons times however many small bins you have plus 20 tons times however many big bins you have, and that'll give you your total tons. So these are the two equations that you should be using for that one. So if you can pull out the two equations, double check that your equations were pulled out correctly, and then you can solve for that. I'm not going to solve for it. I'll solve for it tomorrow. Let's look at this one. So here, the overseas phone call charge. This one's a little strange with the interpretation, but the interpretation is pretty easy. The overseas phone call. So this was. I wanted to leave that equation up there. This was number 8. This is number 9, and this is number 9. The overseas phone call is charged at one rate or a fixed amount for the first minute and a different rate for an additional minute. If a 7-minute call costs $10, so $10 is going to equal your first minute. Let's come over here and we'll say F equals your first minute, and A equals your additional minutes. So your first equation is going to be $10 is the total price for a 7-minute phone call. That means your first minute, however much that cost, plus 6 more additional minutes. So there's your first equation right there. I guess I used a capital A. Plus 6 more additional minutes. And then your second equation is going to come out the same way. It's going to be 640 equals your first minute plus 3 additional minutes. This is a 4-minute call. So these here are your two equations for that. And that one's not too bad to plug into. 10 is the tricky one to get the equations out of probably, but that's just because it's a percent. So this is 10. So a financial planner wants to invest $8,000 in the stock market. Stocks earn 15% annuity or annually, and the rest bonus earned 6% annually. How much should be invested at each rate? So we're buying two different stocks here. So we have stock 1, which we're going to call, I don't know, we'll use F for the 15% stock. And we'll use S for the 6% stock. So we are investing in two different stocks here, one at 15% annually and one at 6% annually. Now your percentages right away you should be turning into decimals because we don't work with percents. If you remember from chapters before, we don't actually work with the percents. But you know that the number of shares of F stock plus the number of shares of Y stock have to equal a total amount of $8,000. So these are prices. Price of F stock, like however many F stocks you buy plus however many Y stocks you buy have to equal $8,000. So then we're going to get our second one, which has to equal $930, is going to be with the percentage rates in there. So however much you buy at 0.15% would be this, right? Your however many stocks you buy for it, how much times the percentage that you get, plus the stocks of the other one times its percentage. But again, you're going to use the decimal for it. So these here would be your equations for that. So go ahead, double check your equations for tomorrow. Give them another shot if you got the wrong equations, and we'll go over those tomorrow. Then we'll start reviewing for our test, I think. We might have one other lesson in there. But yeah, give it a shot and try your best. I think we're going to start review on Thursday. So I'll talk to you then. Hopefully you enjoyed field day yesterday, and you got all your exercises in. So